What is up, Temple fam? You know the drill by now. I'm dropping in to drop some wisdom, and this today I'm going to be talking about how anger is affecting your business and your relationship, and the suppression of anger is one of the biggest fins so many people face. This is the disowning of one of the fundamental emotions of the human experience, and so many people have been labeled that a- anger is bad, it's toxic, it's not good. And this is actually creating a disconnection from self. And when we come back to a place of allowing our anger, what we not only clear out our energetic space, which means opening to more possibilities and being able to receive more energy, which can show up as in the terms of relationships, money, love, etc., but also creates a more empowered state of being. So that is where we are going today. So, firstly, I want to frame this that by especially within the spiritual community, there can be a disownment of anger. There can be this idea that anger is bad, that we need to reject it and we need to be love and light. And this is under the assumption and belief that anger is bad, that it's not welcome, that it's toxic, that there's a label attached to anger, because anger has caused a lot of pain within this world, but it doesn't mean it is bad. It's just been how it has been used in the past has been bad because we haven't had healthy representations of a way to express anger. It hasn't existed because we've been conditioned that it's bad. And this is where a shadow comes out sideways because there hasn't been a healthy expression for it. So this is the most important thing. It's like, imagine if you had a ball and you're trying to force it under the water, the ball being your anger. Now, as you try and force it under, that wants to leap out in all the different directions to come to the surface. Anger is the same, and this is what most people have experienced. They've had someone who's had a build-up of anger, and so their anger comes out sideways, attacking someone where it's not justified. But if we actually pause for a moment and consider what anger is, fundamentally, it is a force that wants to take action to create change, that wants something different to occur. Now, on a personal level, if we feel in resentment towards someone, that anger, that frustration, resentment, which is just anger and frustration, is asking us that we had a desire, we had a boundary, we had some other way of being that wanted to express that we didn't honor. So that anger, the resentment, came to the surface to tell us, hey, something isn't right here, and my being, my soul, is desiring something else from this situation. Now, it is up to us to then take that anger and funnel it into a way that is in service to something greater, which could be a healthy conversation to help get our desires and needs met. And how this shows up in business is people reject their own needs when it comes to business. They believe, I don't need anything, the universe is just going to provide, and then they can get angry because it's not. And so they go into a victimization of the self of, none of this is working, fuck it all, why is this not working? And they're disowning this part of themselves. It's like, no, I am here for more, I want more, I want to receive, I want to create money, I want to create clients, I want to create impact. That anger is showing us when we're not showing up for that, when we're not receiving that. And it's asking us, are we willing to own that and step into that to create something more? And that can be confronting when you have all these conditions that anger is bad. And so the first one we want to do is understand what labels do we have towards anger. Because if you need to suppress that for a relationship or for business, it's only going to build up to a point where you're going to feel like you need to burn that down because you are so fucking done with it. You are resentful, you are sick of it, you are frustrated, and you're like, I couldn't be fucked anymore. Because that's what happens when anger builds up, because this energy is accumulating more and more and more and more until you get to the breaking point. And this has mean there's been a lack of attunement to what you've been experiencing. You haven't been attuned to what you're needing, your boundaries, your desires. And this applies to everything. If you haven't noticed by now, I treat business and a relationship in a very similar way. Was working with people mostly on relationship a couple years ago, and now I'm working with people in business, and the same principles apply, and the same internal, not eternal, states apply, because we're asking, okay, what do I need to do to show up in this way to get the results I want? And that means being able to connect to our anger. And what happens when a person disconnects from this? Well, not only are they rejecting a part of themselves, they're rejecting their passion, their fire, their fuel that wants to come online and activate. If you are here for a mission and you're disconnected from your anger, it's very hard to feel passionate about why you're here. Because you're actually here to create. And when you're in that, when you're creating, when you're feeling that passion, you'll come online. But if you can't feel your anger, because if you're here to serve something, there's probably something that you're angry about in the world, right? There may be something you're angry about in your own life. Now, this is great because that's telling you you want something to be a different way. You're wanting something more. You're wanting it to be different. So this anger is a fuel source that is going to help you create that change. But if you're like, no, I can't feel that, that's bad. Well, you're not going to have the fullness of yourself to come online to go after what you want. You got to be like, no, I can't feel that. I can't allow that. I don't want that. And that's not going to serve you. It's not going to serve anyone because you're holding back your fullness. And people want your fucking fullness. They want all of you to express. They want all of you to be here and allow that so they can know who you are. Because when you're trying to control, which is suppression of anger, you're trying to minimize who you are. You're trying to make yourself smaller so you can be perceived as safe, because this is what you've got taught. Anger isn't safe. So when you stay small, it's safe, right? If you don't get angry, you can hide in the corner. You don't have to speak up for yourself. You don't have to say the things that are uncomfortable to say, because you can detach and be like, I'm not angry. Everything is okay. Well, maybe it's not. And that's okay, because then you have the power to change when you feel this emotion moving through you. And this is going to help you transform not only yourself, but your business, your relationships, because it's like, I want more. I want something else, and I'm willing to fight for it. Feel that energy? Feel that energy move through you when I say that? Because this is what you're being activated for. Because you are here for something more, and your covert contracts that you have with your business, your relationship, aren't serving you. And when I say covert contracts, I mean unconscious agreements, expectations that you believe it needs to be a certain way, and when it's not, you attach a sense of meaning and sense of self to the outcome. And when you don't get it, you blame yourself, or you say you're less than, or you say something's wrong, because you had a level of self invested in the outcome rather than within yourself. And so you need to bring this back and use your anger as a way to fuel who you are so you can get what you want, go after what you want. Because it's there to serve you. It's there to support you. It's there to guide you along your way. And when you don't feel that, when you're disconnected from it, well, it's very hard to do what you're here to do. So the first piece that I want you to do is actually check in. Where are you resentful? Where are you angry? If it's relationship, if it's business, the same principles apply. It doesn't matter. Where are you angry? Okay. Now, what is that telling you? What is that trying to show you? What needs or desires are not being met within that situation? Because this is showing you why you're angry and what your anger is trying to get you to change. It's trying to help you create a new reality so you can exist in a different way. And yet you're still holding on to what was. And you're like, I can't do that. I can't change. I can't do all of this. Well, you can. You just need to be willing to step in, to allow this anger to be the fire of the transformation that burns away what is no longer serving, that is holding you into that old reality, into that way of being, into the nice guy, girl that you thought you had to be, that you've been conditioned to be. Because the thing with anger, it's a fuel that will set your soul on fire and also burn away all the layers of shit that have kept you small, that have kept you in the box that you thought you had to be in. And that's confronting because it's vulnerable, because no longer are you wearing a mask that says, I need to be this, and you've revealed a part of your soul that's here to shine within this world. And when you allow that anger, you peel back the layer of who you are. And no longer can you hide, no longer can you play small, no longer can you hold back. Because you've realized your potential, you realize what you're here for, you've realized how much you are here to create and be and receive. And that's going to confront you if you're here trying to play small, which most of us are, which most of us still play out in some way, shape, or form, because we're still scared of our own bigness, of our own greatness, and because we know in the process of becoming that, it will burn away all that is no longer serving us, all that is no longer us, all that needs to die for us to step into the fullness of who we are here to be. So let your anger transform you. Let it destroy, let it burn away what you don't need to be. Because you're still, if you're feeling it, all you're trying to do is be in the box of who you think you have to be. And that's not what you want. You don't want to be in the box. That's why your soul is so fucking activated when I'm speaking, because it's like, I want something more. I want to go beyond what I currently know. And the way to do that is through your anger. It's through the pain of the rejection of your anger. And it's in coming home to this part of you that is so activated, that is so online, that it doesn't care what happens. It just knows that its soul is here to express itself, and any denial of this, any rejection of this will not serve. So bring your soul. Let your anger be the fuel of transformation so you can become the greatness that you're here to be.